Hello viewers, welcome to Easy Cloud. My name is Arvind. Today we'll be learning CloudWatch installation via Ansible Tower. So in today's session, we'll be installing CloudWatch on Amazon EC2 Linux and Amazon EC2 Windows servers. First, let's learn some overview of CloudWatch. So Amazon CloudWatch is a monitoring and observability service. So CloudWatch collects monitoring and operational data in form of logs, metrics, and events, and we can use CloudWatch in AWS as well as on-premise services also. So what actually CloudWatch does, it will collect the data from your server, for example, your CPU utilization, disk, network in and out, and memory. All those data it will collect, and it can be used for monitoring the performance of the server and for various reasons. And also CloudWatch can also be used in order to collect the log file, and to we can analyze the log file, and we can push the data to the CloudWatch dashboard, and we can analyze the complete data of logs. It can be also your server logs as well as your application logs. Okay, so as we can see here, you can use CloudWatch to detect anonymous behavior in your environments, and also you can set alarms, visualize the logs and metrics side by side, and you can take automated action, troubleshoot issues, and discover insights to keep your application running smoothly. So it means that the logs that the CloudWatch collects can be used to visualize using dashboard, and also you can set alarms based on the data, the metric that is being collected by CloudWatch, and according to that we can also set some automated task, or you can notify in case if CPU memory goes high, you can notify, or you can automate any service, or to troubleshoot in case if something goes wrong, or if utilization becomes more, you can automate any service to run, and you can troubleshoot that. Okay, so we understood what is CloudWatch and some basic understanding of CloudWatch. Okay, and how we are going to install CloudWatch now. So CloudWatch agent will be getting the agent from the AWS documentation or AWS site itself. So we'll download that agent, and we'll upload that agent to our S3 bucket, and from there it will be downloaded in our playbook. Okay, so these are the links, Amazon links, where we can download our agent, CloudWatch agent, for our Linux and for Windows Server. So we need to create a IAM role using this CloudWatch Agent Server Policy, and it has to be attached to the EC2 instance. And we need to generate this config.json file, and we can upload this file into S3 bucket, and this will be downloaded in our playbook, and we can configure the CloudWatch with the custom configuration. So I will explain you what this config.json file is and what it does. Okay, and next is, we will after uploading this config.json file to S3, it needs a public access, so we need to enable the public access to the S3 bucket, and we will go and check the playbook. We will learn how to develop the playbook for CloudWatch installation, and we will implement the playbook. Okay, so as a first step, first let's download it, the CloudWatch agent. So this is the link to download the agent, or you can find this link in Amazon site itself. You can just type like CloudWatch. If you just give here, you can go to the Amazon documentation site. From here you will be able to download it. They have given all complete links here for all kind of OS in region wise as well, and you can download all the agent from here. Okay, so I already have the link given from that site, so I'm just going to directly download this. So it will be downloaded locally on my system, so I will upload that package into S3 bucket. So this is the same, this is for Windows. If you see here, it is downloading. So let me just show you how we are updating in S3. So once it is downloaded, please go ahead and create a bucket in S3. So I already have a bucket and I've already uploaded these files here, and I already enabled the public access to the bucket. So I've already uploaded this two agents, Amazon CloudWatch Agent for Windows and for Linux. Okay, so after uploading this to S3 bucket, next is we need to create an IAM role. So let me go ahead and create an IAM role here. So select EC2 here. In the permission, so here in permission you just need to type CloudWatch Agent Server Policy. So we just need this CloudWatch Agent Server Policy, and can just give any name. So I'll be giving CloudWatch create role. So just this one policy is sufficient to capture the logs. So we have successfully created the role here. So next, after creating the role, we need to install CloudWatch Agent and generate this config file. So we will learn what is this config file and how to generate it. Okay. So first let's install in any of the server, and then we will learn how to generate the config file and what is config file. So I'm just installing it in our Ansible server directly. Okay, it is installed Amazon CloudWatch. So I'm going to install it. So why we need this config file, we will learn now. And also a config file is not required. We can directly install it and it will work. But the reason why we need the agent and the config file is to we can configure a custom config. We can create a custom configuration file, which will by which we can select what all we need to monitor and what kind of service we required from the CloudWatch. Okay, yeah, let me install it. So first we need to attach the role that we created. So attach the role to our Ansible server. So now I'm gonna install it again. Okay, the CloudWatch agent is already installed. It says it is installed. So let's go ahead and we need to check whether it is installed or not. So yeah, it is installed. We can see the configuration file. Okay, it is there. So as we can see here, the config file is not created yet. If we can see in this folder, so we'll go ahead and create the config file now. So using this config wizard, okay, we can create this config file. As I said earlier, what this config file does is we can select the matrix or what kind of services we need, what kind of log files in case if we need any log files to be monitored by the CloudWatch, we can select here. So here it asks you on which OS are you planning to use this agent. So since we are gonna use it on Linux, I'm gonna give 1. And it is asking, are you using EC2 on or on premise? As I said earlier, here the CloudWatch can be used on EC2 server as well as on premise server as well. So here I'm going to give 1 since it is a EC2. And which user are you planning to run this agent on? So I'm going to select CW agent. And are you do you want to run the statsd daemon? I'm going to give no. In case if you require to run that, you can give that. Since it is for testing purpose, I'm not gonna run that. And also this matrix from collected D, this also I'm not gonna select. And here, do you want to monitor any host matrix, CPU, memory, etc.? I'm gonna give 1. Yes. And do you want to monitor CPU metrics per core? Additional CloudWatch here charges may apply. I'm gonna give no. Do you want to add EC2 dimensions, image ID, instance type, auto scaling into all of your metrics if info is available? I'm gonna give yes, and default for 60 second I'm gonna select. And which default metrics config do you want to? There are like multiple. See if you basic, standard, advanced. So I'm gonna give basic. And do you want, are you satisfied with abu config? This is the config file, that we will be uploading in our S3 bucket, which our Ansible playbook will be used. Okay, this is the config. So I'm just going to select yes for this. And do you have any existing CloudWatch log agent configuration file to import for migration? I'm going to give no. And do you want to monitor any log file? As I said earlier, we can also monitor our log file from our server or the application logs here. I'm going to give no. So do you want to store any config in the SSM parameter store? No. Okay, we have successfully generated the log config file. If you see here, we can see the config.json here. Let's open it. So this is the config file so that we required for our playbook. So I'm just going to copy it and I'm going to paste it in a notepad. So I'm going to save it. I'm going to save it as config.json. Okay, save it. Okay. And same we required for Windows as well, right? So since we're going to install it on Windows Server as well, since config file may differ for Linux and for Windows. So I'm going to run this wizard again. So the wizard will be same whether you run it on Linux or on Windows machine. So I'm just going to run it on the same Linux machine. In case if you required, you can do it on Windows. So here I'm going to select option to Windows this time since we are for this config file which you're going to create is for Windows. Okay, and are you trying to use EC2 on premise and host? I'm just going to give EC2. Do you want to turn no? And existing CloudWatch agent into import migration? No. Do you want to monitor any host parametrics? Yes. Do you want to monitor CPU metrics? No. Do you want to add EC2 dimensions? Yes. Default 1. Are you satisfied? Yes. No. Do you want to monitor any Windows event log? No. Do you want to store the config in SSM parameters? No. Okay. So same thing I'm going to do now. So I'm going to copy this config file again. So this is for Windows. So we see here there are some difference in this config when compared to Windows and Linux, right? You can make out some difference here. So same thing, I'm gonna save this file as win config.json. So this configuration file, the name is same for Windows and Linux. It is config.json. Uh, I'm just giving the win underscore just for the reference purpose. Later, the file will be converted. The name will be renamed to config.json when it is copied in the Windows machine. Okay. So I'm just going to edit this file as per the Linux configuration. So after this, what we have to do is, so we have successfully generated this config file. So I'm gonna just start the service. So this is the command to start the service uh, with the config file. If you see here, this shows the file where the Amazon CloudWatch is installed and the service is uh, available. Okay, and -a will tell the status, and it will also fetch the config file, and -m is the EC2, and -c is the file where we will be giving the path of the config, and -s will start the service. Okay, so I'm just gonna run this. Okay, it is successfully started. Okay, next. So we need to upload all this file in our bucket, right? Big S3 bucket. So I've already uploaded this in the S3 bucket. So in case if you're doing it, you need to upload this config.win config.json. These two files I already created and uploaded this, and this all these files should be public, make public. You should allow this. Okay, for this you can just edit public access and uncheck that box and click on save, confirm, and this select all this and click on make public. Okay, okay. Done. So only then the server will have access to download all these files, since by default all buckets will be private. Okay. So we uploaded all the files in bucket. So Ansible playbook for CloudWatch. So we have learned till now what is CloudWatch, how to install CloudWatch, how to generate the config.json file, what is JSON config.json file, and how to start the service. So let's learn how it can be implemented via Ansible playbook. Okay, so I've already developed the playbook and it is in there in my Git repo. Okay, so here now if you have seen in the previous video, so how in the previous video I've explained how the role works and how the playbook are executed. So here I'm directly gonna take you to the task where I have explained the I have developed the playbook. Let me explain you. So this is the first playbook from the task which will be executed, and it says it will tell if the OS is Red Hat, then the Red Hat playbook will be executed. RHEL.yml playbook will be executed. If it is Windows, when Ansible OS family is Windows, then Windows.yml will be executed. Okay, so here we have two playbooks, one for Windows and one for Linux. So RHEL.yml playbook. This is for the Red Hat OS. Here what it does is the first module here we are downloading the package, the CloudWatch package from our uh, uh, S3 bucket. So here I've given it as variable. So cwa.url. So from this URL it will be downloaded. This URL I have given in the variable folder. Let me show you. Okay, this variable folder contains all the variables that I've declared. See here, yeah. So this URL is for the Linux. This you config.json. This is for Linux, and Windows CWA URL is for Windows, and WinConfig.json is for Windows. Okay, so these are the four files that will be downloaded. Let me take you to the task again. So in this task, if you see, so first we are downloading it from this URL. Then after downloading, we are installing it. If you see the package name, we are giving it as CloudWatchAgent.rpm. Once it is installed, then here we are copying this config file. So as I said earlier, so config.json file from the URL which is declared in the vars folder, it will be downloaded in this destination folder opt aws cloudwatch agent /bin, and this is the file which will be downloaded, this name. And once it is downloaded, so as we run this command, so same command will be used to run the service even from the playbook. So this is the command that we'll be using. So here command module is being used here in order to execute this command and start the CloudWatch agent service. So once the CloudWatch agent service starts here, and after that we need to enable the CloudWatch agent here. Once it is system service is enabled, even after reboot, automatically the agent will start. We don't have to manually start the agent. So once it is done, then CloudWatch agent installation is completed, and we'll be able to see the metrics in the CloudWatch dashboard. And the last task is it will delete the file which was downloaded, the package which was downloaded, which that will be at the end, it will be deleted from the server since the installation is completed. So this is for Linux. And next, for Windows. So even for Windows, it is very much similar, except that the modules that is been used in the playbook will differ, and some steps. So in the, as we saw in the RHEL playbook, where we are downloading it from the URL, the same way we are here downloading it. Here we are using winget URL. Previously we used just get URL. Here we are using winget URL since it is for Windows. And after downloading it, we are downloading it in the directly in the C folder. And after that, once it is downloaded, we are installing it. If you see, we are using win package to install the package. Once it is installed, the same way here, we are downloading the config file. So winget URL module we are using, and with this win config JSON file, which is been uploaded in our S3, it will be downloaded using the URL that has been declared in the vars file, and it will be pasted in the this particular location. So program files Amazon CloudWatch agent config.json. As we see here, we copied the file as win.config, but here while copying this file from our S3 to the server, I'm changing it from win config to just config, since this is the name that is required. The name why I gave win is just to differentiate between our Linux config file and Windows config file. Okay, and we're going to start the service the same we saw in the Linux. It is almost similar way. We are starting the service where it will fetch the config file from this particular folder, and this CloudWatch agent is installed in this folder. So from here it will be starting the service. Once the service is started, and later the file which was copied, it will be deleted at the end. Okay, so you got an understanding now how this CloudWatch agent is installed manually and how it has been, how it will be installed via Ansible Tower. So we got some understanding about the playbook that I've developed to install the CloudWatch. Okay, let's try to implement now. Okay, so let me log in here. Okay, as a first part, we need to add the project from the GitHub. So the name is CloudWatch. So it is from Git, so we need the URL. And the credentials. Since it is in a private repository, we need to configure the credential and use the credential here. So once it is done, next is you should have already configured the repositories, I mean the inventories and the credentials for the server. So if you have seen our previous video on how to domain join the server, from there you can learn how to domain join and how to use the domain credential to log into the server. So here I've already configured the domain credentials here. So we'll be using a domain username and password in order to implement this playbook. So I already updated the host details in the inventory and the credentials as well. So I'm just going to directly go to the template and going to execute the playbook. So in case if you want to know how to use inventory or how to add the inventories for no domain inventories or direct IP address and the credential, you can check out previous video on domain join by Ansible. I will paste the link in the description. So here I will be directly executing using the domain credential. So I'm just going to create a template now, CloudWatch, and the inventory that I'm going to select. So first I'll be selecting the Linux and the project, that is CloudWatch. So playbook, the first playbook will be install.yml. Here I'm going to use AD credential Linux. So verbosity I'm going to give debug so that we can have more verbose and we can see the execution clearly. Save. Okay, I just want to explain you this install.yml in case if you are new to this. We're using roles to install the CloudWatch here. This is the first playbook will be executed here. So it says host all, means host all, whatever the host has been configured in our Ansible inventory, that will be invoked. Roles, I'm just selecting our roles. Our roles is there in the current directory dot slash CloudWatch. CloudWatch, inside the CloudWatch only, I have kept all the playbook and the task wars and all these files inside this. So that's why in there we have given it as CloudWatch. So you got understanding. So let me okay, now it is running. Okay, it is installed successfully. So let's try doing the same even for Windows. So in Windows, I'm just going to change the inventory. So instead of Linux AD, so that would be Windows AD and credentials, Windows, save. Launch. Okay, it's installing. Okay, starting the CloudWatch agent. Okay, remove. Okay, so it is successful. So let me show you the CloudWatch matrix. So we can actually see the CloudWatch matrix from the EC2 dashboard itself. So this I'll tell you what is the difference here. So let me just select any server. So if you see here, we have something called monitoring. So as I said earlier, the CloudWatch is being used as a monitoring tool. So if you see here, there are multiple metrics for CPU, disk read, and networking, and there are so many. So this comes with a default package wherein you don't have to pay anything for this. This monitoring is a default wherein we have only few metrics here, but we do not have more here like logs or even RAM memory. We will not be able to check it from this. So that's the reason we have installed the agent CloudWatch agent here, and through which we will be able to see other metrics which is not available by default. So let me take you to this CloudWatch. This is a dashboard, CloudWatch dashboard. From here we'll be able to see all the uh, logs and matrices. So if you click on matrix here and click on all, so we will be able to see the complete agent status here. So we need to attach the role as well. So let me just quickly go ahead and attach the role that we created to the server. So it was previously not attached. So only if we attach this role, we'll be able to view the logs. If not, even if you install the agent, the logs will not be visible there. So I'm just attaching the role, closed. So let me just refresh it. So it will take 1 or 2 minutes to show up here. So we will be able to see the complete metrics in this here CW agent. I'm just refreshing it. So if you see, there are already few metrics which shows for our existing server. If you see here, the first one, this server is for the Ansible Tower server, which we have manually installed. For that, it is showing currently all the metrics that we selected there. So here we can see all those here in the dashboard. The same way we'll be able to see for the servers as well that we have launched. So we can see the metrics has been increased here. So let me show you that. So this is one of the server. You see here 159. So the 159 server is, so yeah, 10.0.0159. That is our RHEL server, which we have, the Linux server for which we have installed the CloudWatch. So here we can see the matrix, complete matrix for that server. Same way we can see for Windows as well. Let me see for Windows. This is Windows. If you see here, this is our Windows server. We can double check that with our Ansible host name here in this. Do yeah, D89TGC. So yeah, D89TGC. So this is our Windows server to which we have installed the CloudWatch agent. We can monitor the local disk here. So whatever the config file, as I said earlier, whatever that has been configured, only that we can see. In case if we need more configuration or anything specific, you can update the config file and you can push the config file to the server and run the service. Then it will be updated. So as of now, these are the metrics that has been selected by from our config file. So only those metrics will be visible here. So we successfully installed the CloudWatch agent in the two servers using Ansible Tower. Okay, so what we have learned today is we learned what is CloudWatch, overview of CloudWatch, and how to download and install it manually, and as well as using the Ansible playbook via Ansible Tower. Okay, and if you like this video, please click on like, and thank you so much for watching our video. Take care.